What is up, everybody? What's going on? Here to talk a little Haney Garcia. A little bit of Javante sparring Haney. This whole uh, clown show that we got going on here. Um, Not that the guys are clowns, because they're not, but the fight should be promoting itself. I think. I believe the fight should promote itself, but what do I know? Um, Recent videos were just released. Sparring videos were just released. The press conferences are happening um, while they're drumming up good interest in the fight. It's leaving a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I don't think all that's necessary to sell a fight. I think the two great fighters. Well, Devin's a great fighter. Ryan is a very good fighter, but he's unproven yet against high level opposition. So that sells itself. You could do the fun stuff like when Ryan came in with the girls dancing and hula hooping and stuff and like the circus kind of theme. That was cool. But then all the name calling and all the trying to break, tear people down and crap on their personality and all that. That I wasn't into at all. But what do you guys think? I'm curious what you guys think about the pressers. I want to know what everybody thinks about the sparring videos. I just dropped videos breaking down the sparring, and kind of getting into is there's not much to work with. It's only a minute and like 50 seconds, but just to kind of break down what we saw. Obviously, what we saw was not doctored, but a greatest hits mix. What we saw was a greatest hits mix of probably a minimum of a 20-minute sparring session. We got a greatest hits mix of it. Sometimes a remix is better, sometimes it's not. But the remix is never accurate. The remix is never accurate on the original product. So, but the remix did show me a bunch of things. Um, it looked like Javante was getting very frustrated with Devin, which is why he was going strong, going hard at him. Really trying to like take him out. What's up, Moji? I guess that's how you pronounce that. That's a cool spelling. So I guess Ryan was going hard. I mean, excuse me, Devin. Javante was going hard at Devin in the sparring, which showed me that he was frustrated. Javante was when you're sparring somebody, right? Especially somebody who is younger than you at the time. Devin's 16, Javante's what, 20, 21, which means he has less experience and he's younger, but he's touching you, or you're having problems touching him. That will result in somebody trying to take the other guy's head off because that ego gets bruised very quickly. And now the fact too that they only showed about 2 minutes worth of a clip, but the sparring session was probably at least 20 minutes long with probably no breaks. They usually do that like fight till the death thing at Floyd's gym. So if that was happening, if they were fighting till the very end and we can only get 2 minutes of a greatest hits remix, maybe Devin was doing better. Maybe Devin was getting a little bit of the edge. But it's hard to tell. What's up, Anthony? The age disparity is getting larger and larger. What is it? You saying that? What is the age disparity? It's 16 and 20, isn't it? 4 years apart. What are they? I don't know what they're. I think they're 4 years apart. So it would have been 16 and 20 at the time. Because I know Dev was 16, so I don't know what Tank was. I think he was 20, maybe 21. But you tell me. You guys look it up. You tell me what the age difference is between the two. Doghouse rules. That's right. Doghouse rules are you fight till the death, the Coliseum style. So why, why only 2 minutes? You know what I mean? What's up, Gerard? We're talking about Devin versus Ryan pressers, and we're talking about the sparring that was just dropped between Javante and Haney, which Ryan dropped 17 and 21. Okay, so it is 4 years. Okay, so yeah, that's a big difference. Not the hugest difference, but that's definitely a big difference. You're 17, you're still in high school. 21, you're adult. If you went to college, you're done with college. Like, it's a big difference between being in high school, being out of college, and being off on your own. Maturity wise. So, but only had a min of tank highlights. But only, yeah, right. That's what I'm saying, Mo. There's only 2 minutes of tank highlights, right? But if you look at those highlights, not all of it is Tank whooping on him. Devin got some shots, and Devin didn't look awful. So if that's the worst you could show, Devin did not look awful. 16, 17 feels different. Yeah, I guess because 17 in a lot of states is legal for certain things, whereas 16, but it's really not. They're both still chill. That's a child. 16, 17 is a child. Under 18, you're a child. And 21, you know what I'm saying? Like, think of it this way. If you had a daughter, right? My daughter's 16. She's dating a 21-year-old. That's not. Nope. Even if she's 17, she's dating a 21-year-old. Nope. But you could fight one. I'm just saying, like, I think Devin did it because it just made him tougher and stronger. His father was probably like, nah, you got to go through this. You got to take these blows. You got to fight. You got to do what you got to do. It'll just make you better, which his father was right. Right? I don't think banging a 21-year-old guy if you're a 17-year-old girl makes you stronger or better. But my point is, yeah, the age does matter. And the experience. It's more about experience too, Anthony, because 4 years of experience when you're only 17 and 4 years, that's like being like, I go back to when you were, what's the math, 14? Whatever. Like, that's a 4 year experience gap, which means a lot when you're that young. 4 years to me in my 40s means nothing. But 4 years to a 17-year-old, it's all relative time. It means a lot more. Those look like desperate swings. Yeah, he looked frustrated. He looked frustrated. You know what I mean? I don't know about desperate, but he looked fun. And if you saw at one point Devin tried to grab him and he kind of threw Devin off of him and he just started trying to hit him. Like, he wanted to put this kid out. He was trying. So there's another thing. Like, I've released sparring of Tank versus Elijah Pierce, Tank versus Kevin Johnson versus Haney. And a lot of comments, oh, that's sparring. That doesn't mean anything. LOL, you guys with the sparring. Now do you see that sparring is no joke? 80% of the time, sparring is all out, with one exception. 80% of the time, sparring between two guys are all out like a normal fight, except one exception. And that one exception is if you get a guy hurt, or if you get a guy hurt or wobbled, you step off. Whereas in a fight, you get him hurt or wobbled, you finish him. You know what I'm saying? That's the only difference. Sparring goes all out the majority of the time. I fought 20-year-old when I was 17. Yeah, I was 15. I fought a 26-year-old in the Golden Gloves. I lost in the Golden Glove finals. I was 15. I fought a 26-year-old. And yeah, this dude had man strength. I was a child. So lost the Adirondack Golden Gloves to that clown. Came second place. I shouldn't have been matched with him, honestly. And I wouldn't have been. But Kevin Rooney was training me at the time. But the fact that it was the Golden Glove finals, I just had to fight who I had to fight. But when it's a non-tournament, back then you would pick and choose. You wouldn't throw in a 15-year-old, a 26-year-old. So we from New York. A word? What part? I'm from Hell's Kitchen. I feel like I came into my manhood around 17. You might have come into your manhood mentally or physically, maybe a little, but there's no way mentally and physically, you're not even fully developed physically at 17, and definitely not mentally. Anybody who's in their 30s or 40s or 50s knows that. At 17, you don't know shizers. BX. All right. Cool. My godbrother used to live up in the BX. I used to go there as a kid a lot. Should sparring tapes be shown to the public? What's up, Mr. Big Play Bray? Should sparring tapes be shown to the public? Why not? I think if in this day and age, when sparring's recorded, if you allow it to be recorded, then you know what you're getting into. Um, Sparring is sparring, right? But it does show a lot. So why not show it? What if somebody's maybe there's cases where somebody's maybe working on something, but I'll tell you one thing: when you're sparring, let's say I go in there and somebody's like, "All right, work on your jab," and I'm working on my jab, but then my opponent starts tagging me up, just whooping my ass, like front to back, whooping the crap out of me. Eventually, I'm gonna stop just working on the jab and start really fighting because I have to defend myself. So you're not going to see a sparring session where somebody's getting their ass beat and they're just, well, I'm working on a jab, so I'm gonna get my ass beat. No, you're gonna end up like anybody's getting their ass beat. It's 9 times out of 10 because the other fighter has an edge over them, not because they're letting them because they're working on something. You know what I'm saying? Like I get a few shots landing here or there. That might happen if you're working on something, but you're not going to get mopped across all over the ring floor if you're just working on something. You're going to switch up and start defending yourself, which is like what Malik Scott told me about Deontay. Malik's like, yo, I told Deontay, stop moving around the ring, walk through this guy. But he was like, Deontay wouldn't do it. He just wasn't in the mind frame. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Deontay wasn't just, oh, that's my game plan. Let me just circle even though I'm losing. That's just what he wanted to do. His coach was like, no, stop circling. Tear right through this dude. Land that eraser. Land that right hand eraser. Eraser because it erases anything going on up to that point when it lands. What's up, Jeff? Peace. Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. Appreciate you. You too, my man. They both have grown since then. Yeah, absolutely. But should it be used against you? Well, sparring footage being released is just sparring footage being released. Using it against you is up to people like you, the fans, people like me, I guess the media. That's up to the onlookers. Sparring is sparring. And in boxing, there's a lot of criticisms, and fight fans can find anything to critique over, anything. So if you go into the mind frame, it's like those you grew up, I guess, with alcoholics, where you're like, yo, if I just hide the liquor, she won't, my mom or dad won't get drunk if I just hide the liquor. But it's not the liquor that's doing it. It's them. It's their mind frame. They're looking to grab that liquor and drink. So you hiding it or not hiding it has nothing to do with that. Just like this. Footage being there or not being there has nothing to do with criticisms. These people have criticisms on the brain at all time, and that's what they're going to go for. They'll find another way to criticize if we hide that liquor bottle. So that's what that's about. Are you going to watch Joshua versus Ngannou? Yep. What's up, AK? Damn Skippy I am. I sure am. I really respect your take on boxing. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. It's a New York thing. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I've noticed that, man. I get way more like there's just way more of a mind frame to people from New York City, the city, not upstate, not the city, especially from like our era. You look probably around my age. I can't really tell in that picture, but 30s, 40s. It's just a certain mind frame where you just connect with people because you grew up around the same stuff, the same talk, same environment. Man, that short clip on Tank makes them look bad and make you think why they haven't fought Haney yet. I don't know if it makes you look bad. 54, yeah, I'm 47, so close. I don't know if it makes you look bad, but if it makes him look bad, I think it's just Ryan Garcia being like, look, he knows that all boxing pundits, all of us know that Ryan Garcia, like Devin is going to box his tube socks off. He's going to box Ryan's socks off. We know Devin's most likely going to win easily. Now, of course, Ryan has a chance, but so what Ryan's doing is saying to himself, you know what? Let me make Devin look less than. This way, it'll make people, the public, think Ryan, have a better chance to beat Devin because look, Devin's been beat up before. So then people want to come see the fight because nobody wants to watch a one-sided fight, but people do want to watch something that is even or there's an upset chance. So he's like, oh, well, look how bad Devin looks sparring. So Ryan has a chance. Let me buy this pay-per-view. Let me buy these tickets. So that's why I think they did it. Also, I think Devin felt embarrassed from the pressers because Devin and his pops were like leaning in on him. That's what I think. You look younger. I can't really tell from the profile pic. It's small. But the one thing it does do, if you like Floyd Mayweather never crapped on his opponents because he craps on his opponents. He makes the public think his opponent's garbage. then he beats this guy. They're like, yeah, you beat garbage. Who cares? But if he makes the public think his opponents are all the way up here, then when he beats them, the public thinks Floyd's all the way up here. So that's the only way why Ryan releasing that might backfire. Might make people think, well, Haney's not that good. So if Brian beats him, who cares? I don't think that'll happen, but it's a possibility. You think Ryan has a chance? He does have a chance. He does have a chance because he's a high level fighter with 15 amateur titles, like a deep amateur experience. And he has one of the fastest punches, I would say, in history. Pound for pound, that left hook is one of the fastest punches in history. It is. It's just, I'm not a huge Ryan fan. I'm not for him or against him. I'm neutral. So I'm not saying this out of Ryan fandom, but it's true. You took a stopwatch, one of those baseball things that measure how fast pitches go, and you measure Ryan from start to finish, how fast that goes against anybody else, I guarantee you it'll be up there with the fastest in the game. Does have a pedigree? Yeah, he does. Ryan absolutely has a pedigree. You know what I mean? Definitely a really good boxer. Yeah, he is. He's a good boxer. My biggest gripe on him was how he has not developed his right hand to the level of his extraordinary left hook. But I just saw some pad work that he's putting out. He's like shooting that right hand. He's like, oh, we don't have a right hand? Whop. We don't have a right hand? Whop. And you saw how fast it was coming, like a whip. So it impressed me. If he develops his right hand, he's going to be really tough. Really tough. I understand you, Mark. I'm 45. Yup. We're old, Jeff. We're old. Queens in the house, though, man. I spent a lot of time in Queens growing up. Story and Flushing. A little bit of Jamaica, too. So, yeah, man, I think the sparring was a great tool for us to all be talking about this now. I understand, and I know football practice is different from sparring. I think you're saying football, but I always thought it was to work on things and see where the boxer is. So I don't think people should judge them. I know football practice is different from sparring. Okay, I didn't really get what you meant, but just sparring is sparring. You're saying basically sparring is just to work. Sparring is to work, but it always turns serious. Within 2 rounds or 3 rounds tops, guys are going at 80% the whole time, with the one exception. I'll say it again: if somebody gets hurt in sparring, meaning they stumble, they're mad vulnerable, the other fighter who puts on the hurting will step back, even be like, yo, you all right? You good? All right, let's keep going. That's the only difference in sparring, for the most part. I think the Loma fight showed some chinks in Dev's armor, but he did look a lot better at 40. Well, yeah, but Loma's also a special fighter. I think Loma's naturally a little small. I think he's naturally maybe a 130 pounder at best because he's so short. But Loma's a special fighter. Those angles, the speed, the power, all that he has is special. So Devin not looking great against Loma isn't a real slight on Devin. You have some people think Devin beat Loma easily, which I saw it very close. I couldn't really call a winner. First I thought Devin won, then I thought Loma won. When I watched it again, it was hard for me to tell. But he definitely he definitely showed chinks, but at the same time, like, what other fighters can bring the kind of heat, the kind of offense that Loma bring to Devin? So it's kind of like, like it's like trying to compare Ngannou to Usyk against Fury. Fury looked bad against Ngannou, besides the fact that he was out of shape, didn't take it serious. Ngannou's a big, strong dude. Usyk's the opposite. Is a small, fast dude, not a big, slow, strong guy. So, you know what I mean? It was for the bag, so they really got active in there. Yep. Okay, I understand. Now I understand. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Gave who the benefit of the doubt? Devin? You talking about Devin, I think? I don't know. In the press conference, man, that racist shit that uh, Ryan's pop said, I was like, I was sitting there. I'm like, I'm white, right? So like, I can't say that ever, and I wouldn't. But like, I'm like, I don't think Mexicans. I don't know the rules. So I'm like, but I'm like, I don't think Mexicans are allowed to say that. I don't even think Puerto Ricans might have a pass, maybe. But I don't even. But I'm pretty sure Mexicans can't say that. So when he said that, I think everybody cringed. Like, ugh. Devin handled it pretty well. But that was that said something. Like that's the first place he goes when somebody says a toupee. I mean, I get it, hair, but I don't get it. Like I get that. The only thing I get was that he started thinking about hair, but then saying that, there's a lot of other things you could have said, my man. That was not one of them. Not one of them you should have said. So the press conference is getting a little ugly. You know what I mean? It's a little too much tearing each other down and talking crap, and I don't think it's necessary for a fight of this caliber. I just feel Tank and Shakur will push Devin like Loma fight. And yes, I gave Devin benefit of the doubt against Loma. So you gave Devin the victory, you're saying? Yeah, Tank, Shakur. I think Tio. I know Tio didn't look great his last fight, but it seems as if Tio fights to his opponent's level. So I think even Tio would, the Four Horsemen. I keep saying this. If the Four Horsemen aren't fighting each other, I think it's a disservice to the sport. They should be fighting each other. Ryan, you could throw in there just because he makes more money than everybody. So while he's not a horseman, he's an honorary horseman because of all the money he makes. So and the appeal and because fighters want money, they like the spotlight on them, and they like the whatchamacallit, I guess just the spotlight. Yeah. So that's the reason why Ryan is one of the guys. Rolly's almost there too in terms of spotlight and money. Rolly generates a lot more money than anybody else besides the Four Horsemen, and he's perceived as an easier fight too, just like Ryan. Ryan's perceived as an easier fight, yet he makes them more money. So why not fight him? That makes sense. I just feel like Tank Shakur pushed. All right, yeah, I already read that one. So I don't know, man. I think Ryan seems like the pressure is getting to him. I kind of feel bad for him. It is a lot of pressure. Like I couldn't imagine being a multi-billionaire with all these cameras and lights on me at 25 or whatever he is. I couldn't imagine that. So, while people like trying to make fun of it and call him a wussy and, say he's a female and all that, he's right. Try living in his shoes. Like it's not that easy. Everybody has their own problems. More money, more problems. Just like Big said. Tank was whooping Haney bad in that sparring clip. Yeah, but we just saw a minute and 50 seconds. That's not that much time considering the sparring session was at least 20 minutes total. So think of it that way. If I come to you with 20 minutes and I say I want you to give me every highlight, you can. And you only come to me out of 20 minutes with a minute and 50 seconds of highlights that, by the way, weren't that bad. There's a few clean shots landed, but Devin at no point was about to go down. He wasn't even wobbling. He was just, trying to get away a couple times and overwhelmed. Wasn't that bad to me. So it begs the question, like, well, what happened in the rest of the sparring? And, like, what's the agenda of releasing a minute and 50 seconds worth of sparring that doesn't even show your guy going down or even seriously hurt? Right? What's the agenda there? There's an agenda. What is it? To make Devin look bad, probably? Did it make him look bad? Knowing he's 16 too? Or 17, whatever. Does that make him look bad? To me, it didn't make him look bad. Plus, knowing that that's what, 10 years ago now? Do you know how much better Haney's gotten? And forget about better, bigger. He's like he has man strength now. You know. I understand people don't like Ryan, but to call him pussy is ridiculous. He's a fighter. You got to be tough for a fighter. Exactly. Exactly. The Mexican G. And you're not just saying that because you're supporting your Mexican brethren over there, right? I agree with you. You don't call no fighter who does this as a career is a wussy. Like none of them. So, and guys, do me a favor, please. Hit the like button. I always say this too late. Helps the algorithm and all that. Helps me tremendously. I appreciate you guys. Please hit the like button. It wasn't a lot of time, but he definitely looked overwhelmed, and I believe Devin outlasted Tank overall. It wasn't a lot of time. He did look overwhelmed. Tank had him overwhelmed. And that could just be an experience gap. You know, yeah, the punches, he was hitting them more, and Devin is just like, when there's an experience gap, sometimes you're like, okay, I'm not used to all these shots coming at these angles, at these times, with this power, with this speed, with all the little inside moves that all these veteran moves. I'm not used to all this. I'm overwhelmed. You saw him kind of just trying to retreat. He wasn't hurt because he wasn't stumbling. He was trying to get the hell out of there, which makes sense. Not on Pussy Ryan, but I respect him as a fighter. Yeah, you should. Again, like, subscribe, and share. Gracias. Exactly. Please. Likes. I'm just learning. I didn't realize that the likes are what get your like views up and get the algorithm. I didn't know that. I thought it was just views. But the likes are, I think, more important than the views. Because you could look at something, but what if you hate it? I don't know. I'm trying to do more lives. I was out of town for a little bit, but I'm back. So I'm going to try and do these more often. I might even go on tonight. I don't know what's a better time now or like 9, but I'll see. Or maybe later than 9. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Ngannou and Fury is this Saturday? Not Ngannou and Fury. Ngannou and Joshua is this Saturday? What's up, Akil? Akil vibes. Like you kill the vibes? I kill vibes. No? Whatever, you know what I'm saying. No headgear, smaller gloves, dangerous. You know what? I want to touch on that. No headgear is more dangerous, yes. With the exception of headgear blocks your peripheral. Do this and look to the side. You don't see things coming here, whereas you'd see things coming here. When this is blocked, you don't see things coming from here. So that's the one thing where headgear hurts. But smaller gloves are actually less dangerous. I've been hit with both. Smaller gloves, it's simple physics, man. Think of it this way. If two objects collide, the one with more mass, aka more weight, is going to hit harder on the other one. Sparring gloves are literally double the size. Sparring gloves are 18 to 20 ounces. Pro gloves are 8 to 10 ounces. So you're getting hit with double the weight. Sparring glove feels like a cinder block hitting you, whereas a pro glove feels like a rock hitting you. And there's way more head injuries and neurological damage in boxing and deaths since bigger gloves were employed in the, I think, 70s. That's a fact. I got Joshua by 3rd round KO. You know, I think Joshua's going to knock him out too. Everybody's, just because he looks so good against Fury, think, oh, Ngannou. I think the Fury thing was a bit of a fluke. I think Ngannou was going to get stretched out. And I kind of want him to be honest, just because if Ngannou wins or looks good again, boxing loses again. One time could be a fluke, but if that happens again, it's no longer a fluke. I'm not into it. Understandable. Thank you. William Old School. What's up? What up, William Old School? Aren't? I don't know how to pronounce that. Interesting. Oh, the glove part. Yeah, man. I've done a lot of I did a lot of studies too, and you look up old school fighters and you see videos of them as older men, 60s and on, talking. I'm talking like Jack Dempsey, like old fighters, Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, and not all of them spoke clear as a whistle, right? Some of them had things kick in later, like Joe Louis in his 60s and 70s, I think, started or 60s started getting neurological damage that they think not neurologically. Started something started happening to him. But I'm talking about like guys like James Toney, Tommy Hearns, guys who young started getting slurs and like it ruined their life young. Some fighters might get it older, but overall, the fighters who get neurological damage, including memory loss, slurring, and like or Parkinson's, that kind of thing, like Ali, when it happens in their 40s, that's almost always guys who fought with bigger gloves. But sparring is the real thing that adds mileage. People don't realize. Like I was talking to James, he was telling me he would never even hit the bag. He'd come in and spar 20 rounds, no headgear, 7 days a week for years. So that's why, if you ever wonder why the greatest defensive fighter in history, one of them, has clear neurological damage from getting hit, even though he's the greatest defensive fighter, it's because that's what he would do. And no matter how good you are, when you spar, you're going to take punches. They just add up when you do it so frequently. And the headgear, bigger gloves are worse for you, so they add to neurological damage. But the headgear at least is a bit of an impact buffer. It'll absorb some of that energy coming, and it'll take away the impact a little bit. Rent. Oh, Arendt. Okay, gotcha. William Arendt. Why not change gloves? I don't know. Thanks, Anthony. I don't know. I think I used to like sparring with fight gloves because it's also like you're getting used to, it's a totally different feel. Like I'm telling you guys right now, put on a bed pillow, and hit somebody, hit yourself with it, and then take like a small couch pillow, a throw pillow, hit yourself with it, and you'll see the difference. Not only does it feel in your head, but on your hand. The only good thing sparring gloves does as well, though, is it gives you more distance to block punches. So a pro glove could probably go up to here to block and deflect a punch. A sparring glove goes up to like here because it's bigger, so it covers more surface area to be able to block punches. That's the only thing it does. So I don't know, but I used to hate wearing those gloves. Teach, what up? What up, Teach? Teach is out of Baltimore, Boston. Tell me with a B, me. I don't remember where you're out of, but what up, man? Yeah, we're talking about this sparring footage between Tank and Ryan, not Ryan, Tank and Haney. Then we're talking about the Ryan versus Haney fight. Wait, sparring footage, Tank and Haney, and Ryan and Haney fight. Flip that. So that's what we're talking about. Boxing matchups. D Free. What up, D Free? What's popping? Teach. I'm not sure what Floyd's intentions were, but he made the Ryan and Dev fight more popular. I'm an NYC. Right. Yeah, you're on my way. Yeah, he's making us talk about it. That's what his intentions were. There's no doubt. His intentions were to promote it and also make Devin look a little less than, so people think that Ryan has more of a chance. Because most of us boxing fans know that Devin is going to box his socks off. We just know that because that's probably what's going to happen. So what do you think if Devin was taking those shots from Tank with small gloves and no headgear? It wouldn't knock him out. It would just it causes more maybe lumps, but it doesn't knock you out. You can take more punches with smaller gloves. That's my opinion. Some people disagree with that, but that's my opinion over the years. What's up, Clarence? I want to see the fight, Tank versus Devin. It got to happen at the end of the year. Right, as long as Devin wins, which he should. But I don't know. Tank seems to have his career very guided. Like, they're carefully choosing his opponents. I'm not saying he's scared. I'm just saying that they're really putting business first, which I partially don't disagree with because you don't have a pension like the NBA has. You don't have guaranteed money when you're retired. You don't have guaranteed check. You don't have guaranteed insurance. You don't have guaranteed 401k and money for your family. So you got to make the most of today in boxing. And making the most of today is taking fights that make the most money that also ensure that you can keep fighting and not either lose, which affects your marketability, or get your ass whooped, which also affects your head and your ability for longevity in the sport. Will Old School. It really needs to happen. He is running out of opponents. Yeah, there's. I mean, I already told you guys how I felt about the Frank Martin fight. I think Frank Martin's a good fighter, but when he has Tiafimo and Shakur immediately available, and Devin available soon, he shouldn't be fighting Frank. Um, it should be Shakur or Tiafimo, even Matias, because Frank's less experienced than Matias. So that's what I think. But what are you gonna do? We have better Biev and Bivol coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Usyk and Fury. So those are some good 2 undisputed fights that'll be exciting. Those are coming up. We just gotta wait for them. Whenever they come, they come. Just gotta sit back and chill. Yeah, you already said that. I mean, what you guys think of the press conference? I felt like all that, tearing each other down and dissing each other and saying racist shit. Like, I don't think that's necessary to promote a fight. I think it gives a bad example to the current crop of young fighters and the new set of eyeballs that guys like Jake Paul and Ryan bring in, because those are the people who probably really pay the bills. And when they see stuff like that, they probably don't want to watch it. It's too chaotic for them. Getting somebody's face, having a little bad blood's okay, but sitting there and talking about toupees and racist stuff and people's depression and alcohol addiction and all that. Believe it or not, some people have hearts, and that bothers some people, because all of us, either personally or in our lives with friends and family, have been touched by alcoholism, by mental health issues. We've all dealt with it, and we've all felt sorry for somebody who's had that. So that narrative, like, oh, that's, you act like a female, I don't get scared. It's in everybody, but especially in these new fans that are the ones who are paying the bills. These, like, I guess, casuals. So I think it just pushes everybody away, really. And there's nothing wrong with talking about your mental health issues or whatever. He's still fighting, right? He's still fighting for a living. He's still fighting since he's a child, right? So who cares if he has mental issues? I would only care if he's not fighting. Or if he did kind of quit the last fight, but he didn't say anything about mental issues, which is why he quit. But I trained with an old man, Danny Canatella, who was a Golden Glove for the Irish Channel in NOLA, and his speech was terrible. He definitely should have retired long before he did. Yeah? Yeah. That was strange. And Arnold being on stage as a spare fighter, one of them pulled me. I interviewed Arnold recently. I think Arnold was just reading the room. He was like, Ryan's unhinging, which he seems like he is. And all this criticism and all this stuff coming at him is just making it worse. Like, if you notice, Ryan he has like a nervous twitch where he goes like, he kind of does that with his nose. That's a nervous tick. He's unhinging. So I think Arnold probably read that and was like, I'll step in. I want my shot. I don't think it was planted. I think Arnold just kind of read the room, and that's what he saw. But maybe the promoters have a plan that we don't know about. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. It was definitely, I wasn't into it. That's why I really liked Errol and Bud's press conference. Just respectful, shook hands. Fury and Ngannou shook hands. Oh, there was another one that I really liked. Big fight recently. Oh, Benavidez versus Boo Boo, shaking hands, being cordial, being respectful. You know what I'm saying? To me, what's scarier? A dog who is like, or a dog who just comes up to you and does this whole thing. And then right before that is usually when the dog who really is going to bite goes, whereas this one, you get numb to it. Benavidez and Boo Boo, especially Benavidez, he's that pit bull that there's that quiet silence, the quiet before the storm, right before he attacks. That to me is more gangster, personally. You know what I'm saying? Way more gangster. So, I get some trash talk is fun. Elijah Pierce, you guys know him. He's one who touched up Tank in some sparring clips. He does some entertaining stuff. He'll bring his opponents gifts at the weigh-ins. One guy brought a walker, which is kind of messed up, but we'll give him McDonald's, just like random gifts. He comes dressed as a magician. He does entertaining things. Entertaining is one thing, but disrespect and chaos is something totally different. It's scary when a dog just stares at you and doesn't make a noise. Yeah, especially when it's like it'll go from nervous to still like this. Oof. Yeah, man, that's some pitbull stuff right there. You like Bivol or Better Biev? I would have to lean towards Better Biev. I think the recency bias has people thinking Bivol is the candy's pant. Wait, not the cat's pajamas is the phrase, because he beat Canelo. But I'm not that impressed with him beating a naturally smaller man who didn't. And I'm not criticizing Bivol, but it's just like with Spence. Spence seemed like there was a little off when he fought Bud, even though Bud still would have beat him no matter what. I think Canelo looked like a little off. He wasn't really not as bad as Spence, but he looked a little. He did a lot of what Roy Jones did later in his career. He would just lay against the ropes and let Bivol just tee off on him. He wouldn't even punch back. And the times he did punch back, he was punching him in his arm. So, and then Canelo did say later he alluded to having some kind of an issue. I think there was something of an issue there, but I still think Bivol would have beat him. With me, I'm not all or nothing. I'm not. That's not my backhanded way of discrediting Bivol. I still think Bivol would have won, but when you see a truth, you speak the truth that you see, and that's what I saw. He looked a little off. Unlike his character. Did you hear that Barboza might step in for Ryan? Yeah, we just talked about that. He's going to be the co-main event. They didn't name an opponent yet. You look like Greg Berhalter on crack. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming you're insulting me, but I don't really know what that means. So I don't know who that is. He have some good fights coming in the next 3 or 4 months. Oh, we have. Yeah, like who do we have? I think Canelo had a hand injury. Yep. I think so too. There was something going on with him. My male pit bull was exactly like that. He never barked or growled. If his hair stood up on his back and neck, get away immediately. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So that to me is more gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like the horror movies where where like Jason is just chasing you quiet and slow. That's scarier than if he's chasing you going, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you. That's way less scary than when he chases you quiet and slow. That's what I get from Benavidez. Tyson was the same way, man. Tyson, he had his meltdowns later in his career, but he wouldn't say anything. He would just come in like just like that. And it was horrifying. You want to see one of the scariest ring walks? Go look up Tyson. Who was he coming in to fight? Might have been Spinks or Bruno. It was one of that. It was during that time, like the Spinks Bruno area. Man. So I guess we're gonna see, but I think Benavidez is supposed to fight. I don't know if it's signed, but that the light heavyweight champion or the light heavyweight interim champion, which is weird because Bivol and Beterbiev are fighting for all 4 belts. So why is Benavidez fighting for a belt? It's one of those regular super bulk crap. Let me take your sanctioning fees belts, which just dilutes boxing. And I'm whatever. I get that the sanctioning bodies want to make their money too, because the only money they make is off sanctioning fees mostly. And if you think about it, there's not that many belts, and there's definitely not that many fighters making enough money that will garner a sanctioning fee that's big enough to actually make a difference. A lot of these lower weights, even in Inoue or whatever, they're fighting for 100,000, 50,000. So 3% of that, like what? You know what I'm saying? It's not that much money. And they're a business too. Like I get it. I know that they're crooked. People say they're crooked, and I don't know the inner workings. They probably are crooked, but I know they need to make a living too. I just wish it wouldn't have been like that's insulting. I feel like regular and all that stuff, regular belt, super champion, like all that's almost insulting to the boxing public's intelligence. Like, come on, we know you're just making up belts. Do something else. Do what I would rather they did like a top 10 contender fee or something. I'd rather them even do that. Something. The belts are just like, ugh, you know, but people love belts, so it's smart. Anything the WBC does, fighters will covet it. Like, oh yeah, well I got the WBC Nickelodeon Sesame Street belt. So, um, well, before I get out of here, I'm gonna get out of here in a little bit. But what else you guys want to talk about? Hit me with some stuff. With some stuff. What do we got? Is Ngannou Joshua this weekend? Because I'm not sure. Think it is. I'm going to some fight in Jersey on Saturday. I think it's a smaller card though. Not really sure what it is. Let's be honest, that's exactly why sanctioning bodies aren't stripping Canelo. They make most of their money off of him. That's exactly. Hey, I'm going to blink this one because that's exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly. I was wondering the same thing. They want sanctioning fee off Canelo's. That's, I didn't even think of that. I don't know why. It's kind of obvious, but good stuff, William. That's exactly right. Next weekend. So not the 9th, but the whatever it's after that, 15th. Would it be the 15th? I got to do math. 16th, right? That's 7 days. I don't know. I mean, that'll be a fun fight, but it'll be fun to watch. I'm really rooting highly for Joshua. This MMA dude cannot come into our sport with 2 fights and arguably beat 2 of the best heavyweights, because he arguably beat Fury. I gave it to Fury, but it was close. He cannot arguably beat 2 of the best heavyweights in the active heavyweights in the world in his first 2 professional boxing matches. That can't happen. That'll make boxing look like crap. If it does happen, you can say Ngannou is an anomaly. Ngannou is he breaks the mold of the norm. But I still don't like it. If AJ loses, he gives boxing another black eye. Yeah, this is already swollen from the Fury fight, and Ngannou could possibly swell this one, and they're just both shut, and then boxing gets TKO'd. Fight has to be stopped. They have both eyes shut. You can't keep fight. Can't continue. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But we'll see. I think I'm going to go on tonight. I'm trying to figure out what's a good time, though. Most of you guys on the East Coast, I'm thinking maybe 9. I want to start going on more regularly, but I don't know what's a good time. And I want to start including you guys, too. I'll end up putting the links out. You guys can come in. We'll have topics and kind of chop it up. But I'm trying to figure out what's a good time at night. I'm thinking 9 or 10 Eastern. But I got to figure it out. Any last thoughts, gentlemen? Central. Central's what? An hour, right? It's about to be 4 p.m. here. Central's there. It's about to be 3 p.m. I think Central's an hour behind. And then Pacific is 3 hours behind. So, if you're in Hawaii, I don't know what time that is. That's like 24 hours away. But anyway. All right, kids. Good talking to you guys. I will please, once again, before you get off, please hit that like button. Please. It helps the show tremendously. The Mexican, yeah, you're over there on the West Coast. Yeah, maybe I'll do 9:30 tonight. I'll come back on. But yeah, please hit the like button. And I will catch you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.